dream?
The dream that you expressed was in Philadelphia. That you gave me.
Okay. Who would do that too? Okay, I will. After the international, the paperwork came, and I expressed it. It just, I don't know how, it just came out of, let's say the heavens blessed us with this application to present to the international court. And I think I was in the restroom, and I just broke, you know, it got real personal for me. I was crying uncontrollably. I was really hurt because I realized in my mind, I said, if they do something to our Father in there, I wouldn't really know what to do. I thought about how could you possibly live your life after that moment? You follow what I'm saying? And I realized it would be over for everybody in my way. So I was crying, I was crying really just uncontrollably. I mean, some of us may have over the years realizing the Master and feeling his pain. I'm sure those people that love him have our episodes, tears, you know, as men. You might not want to say it, but it hurts. Follow? So after that, I just sat in the room and I was thinking about how we can go about it. And then this international thing just started unfolding. I'm like, wow, I'm looking at the cases and going back over the ICJ's contentious case list and finding out the various cases that they listen to. Arbitrary cases and contentious cases. Contentious cases are state cases where states have disputes. And I'm like, wow, we're a state. U.S. is a state. Let's keep it going. So then after we started doing the research, it became clearer and clearer. And it was like, bam, wow, this is it. And I was really excited. That night after, I had a dream. I saw the master teacher. He was sitting down. He was looking weak, like tired, 10 years tired. And I expressed this to a few of my dear brothers before Pops had called. So, you know, I grabbed him and I held him real tight. I was like, Pop, you got him. I said, please don't leave us. I cried. I said, don't leave us. God, I promised him. I've never promised him before, but deep in my heart, I felt like this was it. I said, God, I promise you, please. And I held him really close to me. And I was trying to give him my strength, my reassured, the information that we had, the information that came, I felt reassured about it. And I was trying to give him all of the strength and let him know that we were going to make this happen. So it was fine. He sat down and I explained to him the whole thing, explaining about the international court, everything. Of course he knows, he said it before, but just to expressing that we found a way. In my heart and mind, I always feel like we have to wait. As long as you punch that punch, you want that punch in the neck. You ain't gonna doubt yourself. So that's what I was expressing to him. And I expressed about the jurisdiction. I said, my concern was about the jurisdiction, rendering the court jurisdiction. And I expressed to him, and he gave me one and he did that gesture. I was good with that. So after he received the application, I'm on the phone with him a few weeks ago, and he said that, he said, I had a dream. I had a dream about you. And he said, there's somebody with you named Amin. He was telling me to find out the young brother. He said, the young brother named Amin was with you. And he said, yeah, I had a dream about you. He said, you know the dream? You had came up to me and you hugged me. And you told me everything was going to be all right. I was like, go everywhere. He said go to Trinidad. He started naming about 10 countries. I'm like, oh man. Trinidad, he said he wants Barbados involved. He wants London involved, Canada, everywhere. He said, this is the fight. This is my kind of fight. where we're not subjecting him to anybody. We're not going to the cockpit and asking him to acknowledge us. Please help us. We have the ability to go anywhere and cause any disruption that we want. Of course, we're going to do it with the 9 mind. We're going to just peck away at this beast. We have him by the head. We have the sword on his neck. Now we just have to go ahead and finish it off. Oh, you need petitions? Yeah, we have the petition. That's what our concern was. But we have the email address, and we can send you the petition. We're going to send everyone that gets an inmate letter today. You will write your information down, specifically your email, but make sure it's legible. Make sure it has to be really legible. Everyone has different styles of handwriting. But just make sure your E doesn't look like an R. So when we send you the petition, it'll be in your inbox. So once you receive the inmate's response, we may receive it as well. But if you receive it, you'll be able to send them a petition. Because 9 times out of 10, they're going to say, yes, I'd love to be transferred back to my country. I would love to be, I do acknowledge that my rights as a foreign national have been violated. And I want to submit this to you so you can help us, help you. Follow that. So emails, we got a pen, we can do that. Get some notebook paper and pen so we can make sure that everyone that gets an inmate general information form will be able to write it down and they have all the appropriate documents so we can keep this rolling. Question?
In regards to the letter.
Yes.
If somebody consider themselves a poor but don't have the head and never know.
Okay, good question.
And they want to fight this good fight with us.
Yes.
Can they go ahead and do it?
You can do it. If you just became a Nuwapian today, put your name on it.
All right. The other thing.
Hey, your name does not. And the application does have national ID. Whatever information is not applicable, don't stress yourself out, because it's our government's document. This is not to be accepted or authenticated by anyone else. So don't be afraid the U.S. going to say, no, none of that. This is for us in our ledger. So when it's time for your name to be on the list, we can lay it out and say these are the people who are part of our nation. If they don't have their name, that's fine. We give them a name. You know what I'm saying? Yes.
Suggestion. I read an article called the D4. It's called the
D4?
Where it shows where you have more than one notary public.
Okay.
Which has more power than those having one.
Okay.
It's called the but when you have more than one, it's an international court we're talking. When you have 2 or more notary public, it is standard just like a supreme judge. When you have 3 of them or 2 of them.
Okay.
So I would suggest to have one more. Or
suggest to have one more
notary or 3.
Okay, we have one here, and we do have one. It's 2 here. Okay, so we're good. You spoke it into existence. Question, yes. 13 and up. In our tribe, the adult starts from 13 and up. So any 13-year-old that's here that acknowledges the content of who they are, know who they are, they can fill out the letter. Anytime we do things as a family, and that's why it's important to stay unified. And that's why it's important to eliminate these niggas out here. And you know what I'm talking about. I don't have to put their names out, but I will if they keep pushing this, if they keep pushing it. But I'm not going to put my energy into that. Follow what I'm saying? I'm putting it into our Father's freedom. I'll address it when he's out. Personally, for the people that have something to say now, all of a sudden, you wasn't saying it 3 weeks ago, but now that you see the Watkins worldwide are unifying, you have so much to say. Facebook gangsters. The master may get out in any which way he chooses. Let me make that clear. He's choosing the way he wants to get out. He's choosing the day. But we have to manifest and bring it forth. It's up to us. But he's choosing that day. Like he said, he had to wait for a specific time. So yes, we are still going that Ghanaian route with them joining the treaty because Ghanaians still need that. And we'll be the catalyst. And with that, we have the support of all of those African nations and supporting us in our efforts. Yes. To bring forth the person? Well, that's what you mean? Habeas corpus to bring forth the person? It's a state disputing court. So habeas corpus are not necessarily heard in international court because the body is a nation that's being presented. So we are presenting the person by the fact that we're presenting ourselves as a nation or a body. Follow that? They don't hear, that's why we explained before, you don't hear in domestic courts, United States courts, human rights cases. Because human rights cases are not domestic laws. It's international law. So you have to bring human rights cases to international court. And sovereignty, again, let me express the sovereignty thing, and that's why our master said, don't go ahead of them. There's a lot of Negroes out here talking about they sovereign. How many heard? I'm sovereign. Now, let me express that. As a sovereign person, you are your own what? State. If children here? Okay, children. If your butt gets locked up, right? What state is going to come for you if you're sovereign? None. So if you're a sovereign person and the international court is the only place that hears cases of sovereign people, sovereign nations, how will your case be heard in international court? What government do you have to fight for you? No one. That's why they get locked up and they butt sitting there when they go in front of the judge. I'm sovereign, I'm third article, I need a third article judge. Okay, we don't have no jurisdiction. Okay, send him back in there until he changes his mind. That's what happens. And you notice that the niggas be in there fighting. Yeah, I was in there. I had to take a plea. I had to get out of there. I was 3 months. They started, who heard that? They be talking real heavy for about 2 days. After about a week when that food gets short, the niggas change up totally. So that's why he said don't go ahead of it. And that's another reason he said, y'all come get me. He said, no lawyer is going to free me. Y'all have to free me. Why do we have to free him? Because we're going to be standing right there at the White House like, we need the key to Florence real quick. That's how we have to do it. I know y'all will be ready if it's time to go to D.C. Y'all will be there, right? not here because it's something that, you know, it's something like, okay, well, let's try this. It's presented to him. Anything that's in reference to his life and his freedom, it's presented to him. And if he approves of it, then it's acted upon. Everything that's being done has been approved by him personally. He wants these letters. He calls it his people's list. And when it's time and he has to account for everyone that partook in his fight, you'll already be listed. So that's how we stay on one accord. For those who are close, who are fighting. Follow? You are making the list. You can make the list tonight if you choose, because we have the letters here. And you can be a part of it tonight. Any other questions? No? Two more. It's just a smart one right here. It intimidates me. Yeah. Okay.
A little louder?
Okay. She's asking about the legends. Let me express to you again. The national ID, the legend was taken out of the back of the Constitution. So there is a modified one that's going around as well. So there are two. One is modified. It just makes it a little simpler because there's been a lot of questions about this particular. Now, some people had a national ID number at one time when you were living on the land. You remember the passport information you were given. That was your nationality ID. A lot of us don't have those any longer. So that's not applicable. Your birth certificate number, that's not necessary as of now. Eventually, when our government and the master's out and we reestablish ourselves in our new Nuapia, then your birth certificate will be rendered or given back to the U.S., whatever country you're part of. All those documents will be given back to them, and we will reclaim our nationality of who we really are. So this was the layout, the passport, all of that will be redone in our own nation. So if you don't have it with you now, don't worry about it. Your AO names is a Nuapian name because it's a part of Nuapia. So you can use that. Your government name, you can put that at the top, and everything else that you have available to play and can fill out, then do it. If you can't, don't worry about it, because it's not being authenticated by any other government but us. And in our ledgers, and in our president's ledgers, in his documentation of who's who in his nation. Question?
I just remember it's called the Eating Glass for people. Same thing where you give back the birth certificate. That long list, it states all the things where you're giving back to them, everything.
Okay.
Giving back to them. It's called Eating Glass for people.
All right, well, email it to me so I can look research that.
Yeah, the one that is on your attach, that's your email you send out.
Yes.
That's your...
Yes, the email, yes. Doosua, B.A. Doosua, Basa, Apple. Okay. Any other questions? We are clear?